welcome to Sports Betting Illuminated, where we play with the house and not against it. I'm your host, Ariel Calista Miller, author of Sports Betting Illuminated, an AI-powered path to profit, my book which highlights exactly my strategy on how I've been able to obtain a 30 to 40% ROI season after season across multiple sports leagues. Good morning, David. Good morning, Kenleo. It is so nice seeing you here bright and early. Took Science, hello. And I also saw Brian hop in early and say happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope you are all having a wonderful start to your weekend. It is nice. The weather is finally right, but it is going to be a little rainy this weekend, so I might not be able to get as much of a tan in as I would like. But that is okay. Did you fire DJ Ray? No, he should be here somewhere. Putting in the links. Well, maybe he slept in a little bit, but that's okay. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, Tyler. It is so nice seeing you all here bright and early. I realize I don't even have any background music playing, so let me just adjust that real quick. Because of the last stream, I turned it down because we were playing some of our music. That was a fun game. Did you guys like it? Did you enjoy it? Can you hear that? I don't know. It is a little hot. It's humid here today. Like, hot, humid, and not a lot of sun. So it's just kind of like muggy and icky out. Not my favorite. I would rather it be like sunny and hot. Sunny with a breeze, 70. That's that's perfect. That meets all of my parameters. Alrighty. Well, you know what I say before we get into some of these games, I like to sit back, relax, and get my mind right to win some wagers. Liquid sunshine, I love it. Ooh, I am still enjoying some of the party animal strain I was enjoying last time I saw you guys. That just was so good. I had so many of you writing me after the streams asking like, what am I smoking? How can I get some? It was a great strain, but truthfully, I love like mixing all of my strains with, my own proprietary blends where I add in, different alkaloids and other smokable herbs to really give it like that because sometimes like I'm a cannabis smoker. Cannabis is cannabis. It all kind of tastes the same, smokes the same. I mean, after a while, especially when you've been around a product. I used to have people all the time, like, oh, we have this big grow, I can't wait to bring you some weed, and then they'd bring me like one little nut like this big. And I'm like, huh? I have hundreds of pounds out there on my floor of flour. Good times. Well, having a little bit of wake and bake. I don't think a little wake and bake would be right without some coffee in the morning. That is my liquid sunshine as well. Yeah, drinking some French truck coffee. Really excited for my coffee maker to come in. It's gonna be coming in one of these days, hopefully, because it's all like one of a kind. This Japanese coffee maker brands, it's all made to be like one of one, and it's taken a while, so I've been waiting for that to come in and we can all drink coffee, celebrate here in the morning, start our mornings off right, start our weekends off right for sure. Oh wow, you were having a hallucinogenic experience last night with different edibles. Still dopey. Yeah, that is not like you. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you're really experimenting, in the cannabis world and, trying out a few different things, seeing what works for you, what doesn't. It's nice having the weekends when you could just relax, try some new things, and explore new cannabis products. You know, a lot of you guys are working hard all week, and it's fun to do that. All right. Well, before we dive into some of the games today, let me just go over my current ROIs. I think you guys will love to hear this. In baseball right now, so far this season, we have played 131 units. So, you know, obviously that line game of the day fell apart last night and moved back a whole point. Still, you know, like this is one of the reasons why I have to watch the line like as it changes. Yesterday, I was kind of watching it, kind of not. It did fall apart. So you kind of have to stay on top of these things seriously. But right now, we are at a 39% ROI. That is huge. It is amazing to still have like almost a 40% ROI. Like we're 1 percentage point away this far into the season with already 131 units played. That's great. And we're sitting at a 67.2% win rate. So a lot of plus many plays that we're getting in there as well to also boost our ROI. Love seeing that happen. I know you guys love baseball season because it is run line whispering season. Oh yeah, no, the WNBA, we've actually been doing really, really, really well. Last show, the WNBA, we were barely holding on to a 5% ROI. I mean, seriously, we were on some not super solid ground. So let's just say that. But we were still, you know, still having that 5% ROI, you know, tracking it, making sure that, you know, we're not losing money in the process. But it was a little tough, I'm not going to lie. Now our WNBA ROI is sitting at 28.5%. We have played only 22 units so far this season, so not a ton. Not a ton. And we're sitting at a 68.2% win rate. That is awesome. The Mercury hit. Tyler has been crushing it so far this season. If you want to drop some of your stats, feel free to put that in the comments. Exactly. A few units. Even though we were just kind of, you know, treading water for a while in the WNBA, just a few wins has really boosted our ROI incredibly. Hey, Super James, nice to see you. I'm glad Rumble is working today and you don't have to be on YuckTube, as you would say. Um, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I would love to see a 30% ROI in both leagues. And we are almost there. I mean, obviously we're almost at a 40% ROI in Major League Baseball, which I hope we get there in the next few days. I mean, I really think, you know, if we just push hard and, you know, find our spots, look very carefully and, you know, be very selective with our games, I think we could really push it to that 40% mark. It's a huge return on investment. 40%. And then the WNBA, I mean, we're literally just, you know, just a little bit off, 28.5% ROI right now. That means like we could really just like hit, you know, another game or two and just be beyond the 30%. So considering we're analyzing two leagues right now, two very different leagues, Major League Baseball and the WNBA, but applying this strategy, you know, and I call it the Ari bet strategy, you know, you could call it the game theory strategy, playing with the house strategy, another term that I coined, but playing with the house and identifying spots where the house is taking a stand. It just shows that it pays off over time and, you know, like sticking to your strategy, holding yourself accountable, that is everything to become a professional gambler. Just hold yourself accountable and look at us. I just can't wait really until we have that 40% ROI and we are right there, and that 30% ROI and we are also right there. So let's pick some amazing games today. There are a lot. There's a lot to analyze. I don't have anything in the NHL. I know there's one game tonight between the Panthers and the Oilers. So I would love, I know Derek's in here, Tyler's in here. I would love for our hockey experts, to throw out your picks, who you like in a game, what you're watching. Are you watching the totals, the puck lines? Yeah, let me know how you feel about this game. And let's 41% ROI in the WNBA. I love it, Tyler. Congratulations. That is amazing. Amazing, guys. Seriously. And make sure to go follow Tyler if you haven't already. Tyler underscore picks. Like, he's on Twitter. You could follow his Substack. I'm following him on Substack. Actually, he's in my recommended reads. So, like, if you sign up, you'll see him, like, right there. It'll say, like, hey, do you want to subscribe to all of these, like, articles as well? Just go ahead and hit subscribe. So you think this hockey game is going to go over as well? Yeah, I mean, it does seem to be like a little bit of a trend. But also people love playing over. What is it sitting at right now? I would love to know. Let me take a look. Oh yeah, that has been so much fun. I love interacting with Jeff Vogel on Substack. He's a great sports writer, and I think a lot of you guys will enjoy following him as well. He gave me a huge shout out in his article. Well, he wrote an article, and then I wrote an article responding to his article, and then he wrote an article responding to my article, and it's just been truly wonderful. We DM each other. And I really enjoy his insights. And I found so many writers on Substack where it's so fun interacting with them, hearing their takes, but then also putting in a take of my own. And I don't know, if you guys aren't on Substack for your sports information and just if you want to become a better gambler, if you're interested in sports, Substack is a place to go where you find the sharp minds. Like, you find the people with a real analysis and the people who are just like making uninformed decisions or just, throwing out their picks and saying these are locks when they aren't. Those people get filtered out pretty fast and you can see it right away. A lot of these people have, 4,000 followers, 5,000 followers. Like, it's a really big thing. And I'm just growing my account. I mean, seriously, I'm not even at 100 followers yet. I would love to get there. So make sure to follow me on Substack. It is arielcalista.substack.com. Same thing as my personal website, arielcalista.com. And also, I have had some people on Substack ask me recently, like, is um, this is called, I call this the Substack my daily report because it's an extension of the free daily emails that I send out every day, which you could get just by going to arielcalista.com and clicking on the stay in touch button. It's just that easy. And then Substack is just like a deeper dive of the coaching corners, or it's kind of like the coaching corner but even expanded upon. I bring in AI. I talk about some new developments in the AI machine learning field as well. So a lot to learn there. A lot to learn there. Okay, Derek, I'm looking at this. It is sitting over 6.5. You could actually get that for even money in a lot of spots. I'm also seeing level 5 money on the over. But also shop around because some spots have like the over 6.5 at -110. Other spots have it at even money, which is great. Absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing. My Substack is free too. And I know it's hard for a lot of people. It's like, "Oh my God, I have to get another app or go to another website." But truthfully, it's going to be worth it getting on this platform because there's a lot of intelligent people who have great handicapping information that they're just giving out for free. And if you want to support your writers on there, if you want to support your favorite bloggers, it is so easy to do. It's very easy. Just, like subscribe for whatever monthly, the subscription is. And, a lot of people like block off their articles, but I have everything out there available. And if you want to support my work, I truly do appreciate it. So, all right. Okay, let's look at this game. I do see some money coming in on the Oilers as well. It's sitting at the puck line, a lot of money is coming in, -1.5. Sitting at +200 in a lot of spots, even +220, which is which is crazy. Right? That is definitely priceless. The exact score Substack. If you could just nail the exact score every single time, that would be crazy. But you already have. You've proven it in a community that you just you blew everyone away in that game. That was crazy. All right, let's dive into the WNBA, look at some of these games and talk about it a little bit. So there are a couple early games. The Sparks are facing off against the Lynx at 1 p.m. Eastern. I also see the Liberty are facing off against the Fever at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And finally, the Storm are facing off against the Valkyries at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, I wanted to talk about this last game a little bit because I do see this number on the total developing. It is moving. So I would like to see Tyler, if you have any takes, any plays in here, feel free to throw it in the chat. I'd love to hear your opinion on tonight's games as well. You always have a great take, and obviously, you know, your record speaks for itself. You have a 41% ROI in the WNBA. I don't think there is another handicapper on the planet that can say that with 100% accuracy like you can. I like the Lynx, the Liberty, and the Storm. Okay, so you're taking the Minnesota Lynx at 1, you're taking the Liberty at 3, and you're taking the Storm as the last game tonight. Alrighty. You like any totals? Oops, I just spilled. I didn't realize how full this water was. Okay, I'm just being a little bit of a high mess in the morning. If you guys don't mind. I realize like this orange shirt looks really yellow on me today, but that's okay. Change it to Ariel looks super good today. Oh, I love that. I love that. Wait, I didn't even see your comment, Super James. I like it. Ari looks good today. I like that. Ariel looks super good today. I like that. Or you could do Ariel looks super duper good today. I like it. This is fun. Okay, got a question from the audience. Is Utah, for Tyler, is Utah good defensively, or do they slow the game down? I would like to know this as well. Interesting. Okay, so I am watching the total in the Storm Valkyries game. It opened up at 158.5. Then the total started creeping down. It went to 155.5. Then it went even further to 155. So I'm thinking the under is looking pretty good here, especially since it went from 158.5. It's now sitting at 155. That is a pretty big move on the total. And you know, so I think that's kind of interesting. I like how that has moved, and you know, right now I see that as like the one big movement on the total that I'm seeing in the WNBA today. Some of the money has been a little bit slow just because it's still early in the morning. Things are still loading. You know, people are still waking up. So there's a little bit of that as well, for sure. Alrighty. So yeah, I would love to hear what you guys are doing in the WNBA. I like Tyler's plays for sure. He likes the Lynx, the Liberty, and the Storm. Make sure to go give him a follow over on Twitter as well. And that's really all I see going on in the WNBA. I don't really have too many other plays here, but I do like the under. I do like the under in a Storm Valkyries game tonight, so looks pretty good. I also want to talk about Major League Baseball. I have a few plays in there, but first, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about AGI and sports wagering. Now, a lot of us have been talking about AI and artificial intelligence. Um, yeah, make sure to go give Tyler a follow on TikTok as well. He's always putting out videos on the WNBA, and that is definitely like his iconic line. All right, so what is AGI? AGI is completely different than AI. I mean, it's like an extra layer to AI. And AGI, a lot of people are arguing, is it here yet? I don't, you know, it's not really here yet at this moment because we don't have like an all-encompassing AI that is doing everything that we want it to do. But it's right around the corner. And seriously, with all of the information and data that's being collected, and also considering, the curve of acceleration when it comes to technology, this is a very real thing. Anyone could just go read The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil and see, especially when it comes to technology, AI, machine learning, all of this stuff is in a curve of acceleration where it's becoming cheaper and cheaper to, for computer processing. And, we're able to take all of this data, we're able to crunch it more efficiently than ever. Our processors, there was Moore's Law, people thought like, oh, like in the days of Intel, like, oh, we're never going to be able to make a better chip than this. And then, like a week later, another one, they start making chips out of like silicone or something. I mean, things are always being reinvented all the time. And it's because, it's because of this that, AGI is going to be right around the corner, even though it's not here yet. So let's talk about what AGI is going to do in the sports world. Exactly. I believe you're right, Chuck Science. AGI isn't going to replace the human, but humans with AGI will replace those without AGI. And I think it's already happening in artificial hey, in an artificial rocket intelligence world, at least in the RE world. I have become so much more productive just using AI like as part of my everyday life. I mean, sometimes I'm even at the grocery store and I'm just like, okay, what are the ingredients that I need to make this tonight? And I just ask like ChatGPT on my phone. It gives me all the ingredients. And I mean, Googling, I could scroll through like someone's like recipe and hear about their story and their life and read like 10,000 advertisements. Sometimes it's just easier to use AI. So I'm excited about AGI, but I don't think AGI is going to necessarily make you a better, but it is going to change the idea of betting and betting on sports as we currently know it. Like, this is going to be, this is going to be an entire entity when AGI is possible. It's going to build the sports book. It could reverse engineer your strategy, reverse engineer the sports book strategy. It could predict the next click that you're going to take, because it runs predictive algorithms. And I mean, truthfully, like, you could profit, or the sports book could profit in truly like many, many unforeseen ways. So what is the difference about AGI? Like, what is it going to do to sports betting? AGI is not going to be guessing when you place a bet. Like right now, even the sharpest bettors out there are working with information asymmetry. So injury reports, weather trends, betting splits, historical edges, all of this comes with partial, information. There's always going to be information asymmetry. So the sportsbook does have an edge. That is right. um, and okay, let me just fix my dashboard. Okay, so I can see all of your comments coming in. That is funny, Super James. Yes, I do have titanium in my leg. Those electric scooters are really dangerous and honestly like such a cause of injury, so be careful around there. But right now, I mean, just think about it. We already know that Amazon, AWS, has a deal with every single stadium in the country, and they have cameras and sensors all around the stadium. With AGI, I mean, what they're already doing is collecting tons of data, using computer vision, and all kinds of models to, I mean, even from sensors like literally directly on the players' jerseys, or, in hockey, for example, there's like an infrared sensor in the puck, even. So they know, whether the puck is going to make it into the goal or not, literally before it happens. I mean, with astounding accuracy. So with AGI, I mean, it's already taking in all of this information from all the cameras in the stadium. And it's already tracking, are these players having fatigue? Is someone limping? Is someone using their left foot more or their right foot more? And in 2023, I'm 2030, I mean, with AGI, it's going to be doing all of this and more, but I would love for it to actually, be accessible to all the bettors out there, available to everyone. It's going to be able to model sharp betting behavior in real time and, like adjust basically how high volume players are going to react before they even place their bets, and it's going to move markets. So, I mean, it's going to be able to trigger public movement so the sports books can really like exploit exploit the bettors at scale. Okay. Soon AI will know which players have money on the game and which side they bet. Oh yeah. Well, the sports books AI already has that. And, a lot of these sports books, they all go to like the same companies, which, then like provide, compliance and monitoring for all of these different sports books. So that's why like information is already getting shared this way. Okay, now think about this though, for an example. You are about to take a +3.5 line that you think is mispriced. AGI already stimulated your action 100,000 times. They adjusted for your bankroll, the time of day, and even maybe your Reddit history, understanding what your sentiment is. So it lets the line hold for 9 more seconds, just long enough for you to commit and place that bet before flipping it with such a velocity that just crushes closing line value. I mean, this can annihilate people. So, I mean, this is an example of what AGI, will be potentially doing in the future. And let's talk about why it's different from AI. Like, AI today is powerful, but it's very narrow. You give it a task and, it really focuses on that one specific task. But AGI will see the whole playing field. It's going to observe everything, the odds, the news cycles, public sentiment, injury, travel, sleeping data, all of that. And then it'll see like what is missing. Except it's reading all of this and crunching the numbers in milliseconds. So it's learning from itself, it's evolving in real time, and it's not going to make the same mistake twice because all of these algorithms, I mean, what they get penalized for making mistakes so they don't do it again and again. That's how these machines are able to learn. So, I mean, we think that AGI, I mean, there is going to be a so-called technological singularity happening. That's, what really Ray Kurzweil has predicted in his book, The Singularity is Near. And reading this book has been very eye-opening because all of his predictions, I mean, literally, like, I'd say not. I'd say most of them. I mean, I can't for sure 100% say all of them. I'd say they are all like right on the nose with the timeline, but it's projected to come, between 2030 and 2040, maybe perhaps even sooner. And it's just self-optimizing faster and faster than we can even monitor, in real time. And, you know, AGI is just building new systems to exploit the bettor's next moves. And I think it's going to reshape the fantasy world as well. Because right now, even in fantasy, it's like all of this depends on uncertainty. But once AGI arrives, it's going to build thousands of optimized lineups. And it's going to enter contests using like disguised builds or intentionally under optimizing a few players just to avoid detection and get into these contests, but then it'll be able to still crush you with its ROI. And really, it'll be able to even copy and simulate the behaviors of other users. So that is definitely something to watch out for, especially because I know a lot of people here like fantasy. Even in my last, live stream that I was doing, I know people were doing fantasy baseball, fantasy football, fantasy basketball. Yeah, it is crazy. It is truly crazy. So I think AGI is truly going to force like a reinvention of sports and wagering. I mean, I believe that there's going to be AI powered narrative fantasy leagues. So you'll have a fantasy game where the players and maybe even the games aren't even real, but the experience feels immersive. And your draft pick could have a shifting storyline depending on unfolding AI generated things in this universe. Or you could have different personalities for different players that you have. So it is really interesting what the future of this looks like. It really could be like sports meets like Dungeons and Dragons, but even more immersive. And in the AGI future, sports books could become areas for influences. It could really become like a social strategy where players might place wagers, not just for the payout, but to alter, like to unlock alternate futures with AGI. I mean, there can be all kinds of like exclusive AGI agents, which are like personalized betting companions, or you could form coalitions with your friends or groups or people that you meet online. And I don't know, this is interesting. There's a lot going on here, but it is looking like this is what the future of sports betting is going to look like. And it's a pretty interesting future, considering this is all going to be really growing and coming together, in the next few years. Like it's already 2025. And really a lot of people are predicting AGI is going to be here by at least 2030, 2032. So all right. Well, if you're excited about that, let me know in the comments. If you're scared about it, also let me know. Because there are a lot of pluses and minuses to this whole changing of technology thing. So I would say for everyone out there who, might feel scared of it right now is the time to learn about it and embrace it and understand it. And, just finishing up my AI curriculum, AI machine learning curriculum, and I'm finally off for the summer. I have learned so much, and just having a deeper understanding of how it works doesn't make things so scary anymore. Like AI stops being scary once you learn how it works and you understand the math and, like the vectors and arrays and all that kind of stuff that goes into all of it to create it. And then once you actually are able to create it and control it yourself, then you're empowered to go out and, you know, compete against other people's AI builds. So it's exciting stuff out there. And I'm really excited to bring you a lot of, you know, just some of the work I've been doing in AI and allow you to play around with some of these models and stuff. So that's exciting. All right, let's dive into baseball. We have a 1 o'clock game between the Marlins and the Nationals, and I am looking at this total. This is looking like a pretty good over. It opened up over 9 even money, went to over 9 minus 115 on level 4 pro money. Now, it's not like super strong pro money, just like a small P. You know, for my daily report, make sure to sign up if you haven't already. But I like the over 9. It's looking pretty good. I like how it moved from even to minus 115. You know, maybe I'd probably go for like an over 9.5 spot, look around. I know you could probably find that like over 9.5 even money right now, so, you know, shop around a little bit. I like that though. And, you know, it seems like this is holding pretty steady right now. So I like seeing all the money there, and, you know, just seeing how Vegas is adjusting the odds in response. Yeah, still pretty strong money. Okay, yeah. Minus 118 now, even in some spots. So it has moved from like minus 115 to minus 118. So yeah, you might want to find like the over 9.5. Try to get like a little bit of plus money, even if you're taking like a minus 105. Just look around. All right, let's talk about the other 1 o'clock game, and that is between the Reds versus the Tigers. They are facing off at 1:11 p.m. Eastern, and, you know, I am watching this Tigers run line, but there seems to be a lot of Joe money on the Tigers. So I'm following this, watching to see how this is moving, but it looks like this is just a movement in response to Joe money. It opened up minus 1.5 plus 135, then it went to plus 114. I'm just kind of staying away from this one for now. I would like to see how, you know, like if this does change anymore. Yeah, it's just sitting there at plus 115, but the money is very, very Joe. So Vegas is just adjusting for some of that. I know, that's a tough one. I cannot believe Illinois is doing that, and I think a lot of other states are going to start following as well. And I mean, truthfully, even though I don't like obviously get on here, I'm not touting any sports book. Like, I'm not promoting that. I'm not like, hey, if you go here, like, you're gonna get this much money. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I grew up in Vegas. I know, you know, I know what the casinos and, you know, what the big shiny buildings are all about. But truthfully, when I see what's going on to the sports books in a lot of these states right now, like Illinois, where you have to pay 50 cents a bet now, and, you know, like DraftKings for a day was like, oh, we're not going to do that. They followed along right away. All, you know, all the sports books, like none of the sports books are going to eat the cost. It is the bettors that are going to eat the cost. We know that as consumers, that these businesses aren't going to pay like these taxes. It's going to be us. Like, we're paying the tax after our income already gets taxed, and then we pay taxes on all the goods that we buy, and now we have to pay another tax before we even win the money in Illinois. No, I mean, I'm sorry. This just makes me so angry. I don't get this at all. Like, taxation without representation? No, I don't know. All the sports books are going to start doing this, and like all the states are going to start doing this now. Like, it's not just Illinois. It starts with one state, and then you see these prediction markets like Kalashi. I mean, And we saw their advertisement. I sent that out to all of you guys. That was one of the best advertisements I've seen compared to all these other sports books. Like I truly judge a lot of these advertisements harshly. Like I've had my own advertisements that were playing on ESPN for my band Energize. You could actually look them up online. Like I was featured in an ad, but that was my company doing ads. So I look at ads and I judge them. And, I mean, these prediction markets are going crazy because they're not being regulated in a way that sports books are. And then you look at states like New York where, they're already taking like over 50% just off the top from the sports book. So of course the sportsbook can't give any bettors like odds boosts or promotions or anything. They're getting 50% already taken away. And now, I mean, I'm sure New York, of course, is going to decide that, maybe they don't need to take 50 cents a bet, but maybe 75 cents a bet or $1 a bet. I mean, who knows? But I think all the other states are going to start following in suit, and it's the worst. Like I feel really bad for the bettors. Like we are all already like we're already getting, like penalized enough by not getting these odds boosts or other things that, other people have with, just state taxes. And now like to add this extra tax on top of it, on top of, I mean, before you even win, the state is coming in and saying, we'll just, we'll have take our hand, put it in the pot here, and take our 50 cents. It's really bad. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like what the government is doing. So that is great. I love that you used to watch it just to see me in the ads. Yeah, it is the worst for taxes. And like, you start wondering like why are all these people moving to Nevada? It's like because you could go to Nevada, you're not going to pay an income tax. And I mean all the Californians are moving out there. Like it's a huge thing. Like Californians love to say like, oh, everyone is moving to our state, but truthfully they're all moving to Nevada because of the taxes, and the taxes are killing people. Like, it's just too much for people right now. I'm not a fan of it. That's my own personal take on it, but I just don't think, like, you can't just take and take and take and take and take from people and, like, not give them anything back in return, so. Yeah. They did not sweat that red line with us. No, they are taking from you, the sports bettor, win, lose, or draw. They're taking their hand, they're holding their hand out, and they're saying we're gonna take our tax no matter what. And it's just not fair. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of what these states are doing and what the federal government is gonna do to all the people that bet on sports. Like, let's just let adults be adults. Let's encourage them to make the right decisions, and let's teach them how to be responsible bettors by giving them the correct tool sets and understanding their own biases, like understanding when they're making an emotional bet. Use AI to become, to invent responsible systems that are actually catered to each person. Like all of that is possible, but just straight out penalizing everyone with a 50% tax is not it, in my opinion. Exactly, Spencer. They are just taking it off the top. Exactly. They're the mob they're the gang that can't shoot straight. That's how I feel about them. Super James. They're not just a mob. The mob will open up the soup kitchens for the people. I mean, truthfully, what was it? Was it yesterday or the day before? I saw it was like this day in history. I think it was just like the past couple days. I saw a thing, it was like this day in history, like Al Capone opens up the first soup kitchen, to feed, the hungry. And I saw that on the news and I was like, oh, yeah, like on this day in history. So I think the mob is taking care of people better than the government is, but that's just my opinion. Um, exactly. They'll pretend they don't like you playing, and then but they'll allow you to play as long as they could take some money from you. That is the truth. That is the truth. Okay, that was my little rant. I guess I am very biased in that I just don't like being taxed. I don't like seeing people's hard work and, people who work hard every day. I don't like seeing all of their money, just being taken by government entities because they are so like fiscally irresponsible that they can't manage their own money. Um, just opinion. All right. Pirates versus Cubs, 2:21 p.m. Eastern. Exactly. The vig is doubled. That's exactly. And most people aren't even going to notice it. Like a lot of people are just like, whatever, another 50 cents, but it adds up to, I mean, it's going to add up to hundreds of millions and millions of dollars for the state for no real reason. Like all they're doing is taxing something that you're doing like as a hobby in your own free time. It's just not fair. Like you don't have to pay a 50-cent tax just for going to a restaurant. Like you don't have to pay a 50-cent tax just for I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and part of the sports wagering course, like that Super James and I are working together on is like it's going to teach people like, look at the big, look at the juice and like see what's going on here. Make sure that you're actually, making money and staying profitable as a sports bettor because it's so hard and it's even harder now when you have every state and government regulatory agency and sports book and AI algorithm in the world trying to separate you from your money. And right here, that's where we're learning to stay profitable, to read these numbers right, and to actually understand like what is going on out there. That is true. That is true. We all get the surcharge passed along to us now too. From all the credit card companies. Life is so fun. I can't wait to be in Europe where it's just like the price is the price that you pay that you see on the board. Seriously. All right, let's talk about the Pirates versus Cubs. This is a 2:20 p.m. Eastern game, and this total is kind of interesting. It's moving against the money. Exactly. No, right? The banks that are taxing, the federal government, the state, we got taxed in so many wonderful ways. All right. It opened up under 7.5, even money, and then it went to under 7 plus 101. So kind of still sitting around the even money mark, I'm sure right now. There is level 2 money on the over, but that is right. The Pirates are playing today. um, this is interesting because there's level 2 money on the over, but the sportsbook is moving this line lower. I'm just kind of staying away from this one for now just because there is all the money on the over, but the sportsbook is moving the line lower. I would always say like play with the house. I'm, not not feeling over here. Uh, but it does look like there is a little bit of money coming in on the under. I do see this line starting to move a little bit. Yeah, okay. So it's sitting under 7 plus 105 in most spots right now. Um, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Some spots have already moved it to even money. I don't know. This is yeah, this is kind of interesting. But I don't think this is really rising to the level of a play for me yet at this moment. So just, too much action, just not lining up with each other. What do I think about the Marlins team total over? Thanks for writing, Noel. Well, I was looking at the Marlins Nationals earlier. I wasn't looking specifically at the team total. So I'd love like for someone to come in, chime in about that. Tell me what it is right now and let me know. But I was looking at the over, and the over is looking pretty good, just in general. The game over, it opened up over 9 even money, then it went to over 9 minus 115. Plus, there's level 4 money on it. So 5 is the highest it will go, the most amount of money. Level 4 is right there, and there is a lot of pros in the mix there. So I like seeing that pro money. So I mean, I do think like if you are going to take the Marlins team total over, it is like a good over to play because the over is developing in the right way for the game line, and you know typically the teams follow. Ah, okay, Tech Science, you are going to ladder it the over. Okay, okay, I like it. I agree with you, Spencer. Which Pirates team is going to show up? Hopefully, hopefully, they really do perform today, but that is one of the games that I'm just gonna stay away from, I think, at this point, because the total is just too, I don't know, it's just bouncing around a little bit, but it is looking like it's moving under while all the money is taking over. So I would say don't play with all the money, stay with the house, but not really even developing into too much of a play for me on the Pirates or Cubs today. Okay, a step stool. Okay, thanks for correcting me, Chuck Science. You are just going to step stool the over. All right, and that Marlins Nationals game. And that is coming up soon at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I did want to dive into a few more games that are developing pretty nicely. So the Twins are playing the Astros at 4:11 p.m. Today. And, ooh, what would be my best play today? Everything is, I don't know. I mean, I would say I like this over right now in this Marlins Nationals. I would say that's my best early play that I like. I will be releasing my daily report after this live stream, so that might come out a little later. There might be something else that has developed at that point as well. So if you are new here, please make sure to sign up just by going to arielcalista.com, clicking on the stay in touch button. It is free, easy. You'll get my picks of the day, all the sports news and information. You'll see all these lines and how they're moving. Plus you got pictures of me every day and so much more. So I think right now I like that over. I like how it's developing. This is probably maybe a little like step stool spot, but don't pull out the full ladder. Like Chuck Science said, don't pull out the full ladder there. That's one of the early plays that I like a lot. Now looking at this Twins Astros game at 4 o'clock, this under opened up at under 7 minus 105, went to under 7 minus 115. Although there is some money on the over that is looking a little pro-ish, I'm thinking the under here is where I'm leaning more heavily because it did move from minus 105 to minus 115, and this is moving against some of the over money. So, if Vegas is moving against some of the over money here and they're moving towards the under, I'm thinking this is going to be an under as well, playing with the house here. But it's not a huge movement. So like I said, this is a little bit more of a lean at this moment. It did just move from, minus 105 to minus 115. Not a ton of action, but it is moving against some of the over money. So that is interesting. It does look like Vegas is taking a small stand, so keep your eye on this one. It does start at 4 o'clock, so we have plenty of time till the game. And there's so many games, but not a ton of them have been developing in baseball today. I do want to look at just one more. Ooh, thoughts on the Tigers versus the Reds, first 5. Okay. You know what? I don't have those stats in front of me at the moment, but I would also say, Jay, since you are looking at that, I would say also look at the xERA on both of these guys. That's a little bit more accurate than the ERA. It's just a better statistic to use. So Yeah, make sure to look at that and really, see which guy is better there specifically. I don't usually do first fives. Hey LM, it's been a while. Nice seeing you here again. All right, but let me take a look at this game and see what's going on. Yeah, the money is pretty split here. There is a little bit of sharper money developing on the Reds, but it's not really like rising to a level of significance at this moment. Hey, that's cool. I'm glad you're getting into baseball. The Reds money line or okay, the Angels money line. Okay, you want to grab a dog today? Okay, let's take a look at it. Well, I know you guys are both interested in this Reds game. It opened up at plus 140 is where the money line did open up, and right now it is sitting at plus 155. It doesn't look like this Reds money line is moving in the right direction. It opened up at plus 140. It moved to plus 155. I even see in some spots it's already sitting at plus 160. If I were to really like this, like to see it develop into a play, I would have liked to see it move from like plus 140 to even like plus 130. Starting to move in the opposite direction. So at this moment, I am not really loving the Reds money line, to be honest, even though the money is still very split there. And then the Angels money line, you were looking at that as well. I see it is sitting at plus 135 right now. And it opened up at plus 135. So just kind of sitting there. It's a little bit dead, in my opinion. The money is very evenly split. On the Angels and the Orioles. So no one's really like taking a particular side here. Vegas is just balancing the money, and they don't really have to even move the line because the money is already balanced. So they found like the exact right spot. So yeah. Well, it's a better statistic to use. So basically it takes out all of the randomness and yeah, just like there's randomness, there's luck, there's all kinds of factors that can affect someone's ERA. And what it does is it does their expected ERA. It's just a better number because it takes out all of these other components, that account for the team or the players or, other players' performances that day. What it does is it really just isolates, like the true actual expected ERA. So a lot better of a statistic to use. And you could actually find all of this using StatCast. Google and Major League Baseball have a partnership called StatCast, and they have all of this information available to play to all of us for free. So it is a wonderful feature. But I would always say, like make sure you're getting like the best numbers that you could get. That's where you get the best information. That's where you find your edge, because everyone else is still looking at like ERA. Yeah, anytime. And then other people look at like FIP, XFIP, like all of these different statistics. All of it's available through StatCast, and I would say, do a deep dive. Like some of these, like mathematical geniuses like behind this are just sitting there, like calculating everything, and they come up with these numbers, and it's just so highly accurate that that's the way I tell everyone, like start looking at some of these better numbers. Okay, so you're saying take the White Sox dog today. That is interesting. White Sox are playing the Rangers. Whew, not a lot of money on their run line, but not a lot of money on the White Sox money line either. But it did open up at plus 310. Is that right? White Sox? Plus 320. Interesting. and it's sitting at plus 270 to plus 275 in a lot of spots. That is definitely moving in the right direction. So I like that. I like seeing how that's moving. Wow. Alrighty. Yeah, that might be like a nice little spot. I do want to talk real quick about the Padres versus Diamondbacks game. This is a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern game, and this is the last run line that I really see. There's some action going on here. This Arizona Diamondbacks run line opened up at -1.5, plus 140. Then it moved to plus 115 on mixed money. This was not a lot of money coming in here and pushing in. Vegas was not reacting to Joe money or pro money. This was just mixed money, and Vegas started moving this line, but they moved it a lot, and that indicates that Vegas is taking a serious stand on the Diamondbacks today. So I do like that run line a lot. I like how this line has moved, and I think it's developed pretty nicely. Hey, thank you so much, Siege Outdoors. I appreciate you coming to my stream. It's so nice seeing you here. Thanks for coming in from Rumble. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think the White Sox, it is like a nice plus money play. And seeing how this is moving, this isn't money pushing it. This is Vegas simply adjusting their numbers against all of the money on the other side. So what they're doing is like they're inviting people in, keep taking the other side, keep taking the other side. While like truthfully it seems like the White Sox is what Vegas is favoring with their own AI analysis. And I always say play with the house, not against it. All right, those are all of my plays for today. That was a whole slate. I love diving into some of these games with you, and I appreciated seeing so many new faces and names here in this stream today. I would love for you guys to follow along, subscribe so you get notified next time I go live. And I will be live again on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. We do Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern and Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern. That is the Sports Betting Illuminated schedule. But of course, all of you are welcome to stay in touch with me every single day of the week, where my daily email goes out. I break down all of the sports lines. I give you analysis. I talk about the recent sporting events. Plus, I give you my picks of the day. And that is a lot of fun. Plus, then you got pictures of me every day right at the bottom of the email as well. So make sure to scroll down to the bottom. I have a whole key there on how I analyze these games, break it down. I make it real simple, like a real simple toolkit for everyone to access. And just remember, this email is 100% free. It's been going out for over 700 days, and I would love to get some new subscribers. So please tell your friends, tell your family, go to arielcalista.com and click on the button, stay in touch. Hey Super Pro, nice seeing you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming into this stream today. I had such a wonderful time. Let's crush our wagers this weekend. And you guys know you could reply to any single one of my emails just by hitting the reply button. I will respond back to you as soon as possible. Thanks, everyone, for coming to the stream. Please leave a thumbs up on your way out if you enjoyed it. And I will see you all next time. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful winning weekend.